Ketu in all 12 zodiac signs. Hello friends, today we will talk about Ketu, the shadow planet in Vedic astrology. Ketu represents our detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows the areas of life where we naturally let go, feel disconnected, or seek something beyond the material world. Ketu teaches us lessons through introspection, separation, and letting go of attachments. Just like other planets, Ketu behaves differently in each zodiac sign. Depending on the sign it is placed in, our sense of detachment, spiritual inclinations, and areas of non-attachment change. It can show where we are introspective, where we need to release, and how we grow from past experiences. In this video, we will explore Ketu's energy through all the 12 zodiac signs, from bold Aries to sensitive Pisces. Let's see how Ketu influences our mindset, spiritual lessons, and detachment in each sign, and what that means for you. So, let's begin our journey with Ketu through the signs. Ketu in Aries, the detached and spiritual seeker. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Aries signifies. Aries is a fire sign ruled by Mars, symbolizing courage, initiative, and bold beginnings. It represents action, independence, and fearlessness. Ketu in Aries. When Ketu is in Aries, a person learns to let go of impulsive actions and desires. Ketu's energy softens Aries' boldness, encouraging the individual to channel courage into self-improvement, spiritual practices, and disciplined action. Aries gives Ketu the courage to act wisely instead of impulsively. This placement teaches lessons through independence and self-reliance. The seeker learns to balance ambition with inner detachment and clarity. Lessons in focus. Let go of unnecessary desires and impulsive actions. Focus on inner growth, discipline, and self-awareness. Use courage and initiative for constructive and spiritual purposes. Learn from past life tendencies to act wisely. Develop patience and thoughtful action. Challenges. Restlessness and impatience when progress is slow. Feeling incomplete without taking bold action. Struggle between worldly urges and spiritual lessons. May act impulsively if detachment is not practiced. What to practice? Practice mindfulness and meditation to calm restlessness. Channel energy into discipline, self-growth, and spiritual practice. Reflect before acting to avoid rash decisions. Embrace detachment and learn lessons from past tendencies. Ketu and Taurus, the detached materialist. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Taurus signifies. Taurus is an earth sign ruled by Venus, symbolizing stability, comfort, wealth, and material pleasure. It represents security, possessions, and sensual enjoyment. Ketu in Taurus. When Ketu is in Taurus, the person learns to detach from excessive attachment to material comforts, money, and physical pleasures. This placement often brings a past life tendency toward materialism, teaching the native to find balance between comfort and spiritual contentment. Ketu in Taurus pushes one to find peace beyond material possessions. It brings spiritual lessons about self-worth, simplicity, and detachment. True value is learned through inner stability rather than external wealth. Lessons in focus. Let go of over-attachment to wealth and luxury. Focus on finding emotional and spiritual security. Develop inner peace beyond physical comfort. Learn to balance material desires with spiritual understanding. Appreciate simplicity and contentment in life. Challenges. Struggle between material cravings and spiritual detachment. Fear of losing possessions or financial security. Difficulty feeling satisfied even with abundance. Resistance to change or letting go of comfort zones. What to practice? Practice gratitude and minimalism to ground yourself. Engage in meditation to find inner peace. Learn to value experiences and relationships over possessions. Cultivate generosity and selflessness to balance attachment. Ketu in Gemini, the detached thinker. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Gemini signifies. Gemini is an air sign ruled by Mercury, symbolizing communication, intellect, curiosity, and adaptability. It represents learning, expression, logic, and exchange of ideas. Ketu in Gemini. When Ketu is in Gemini, the person learns to move beyond excessive thinking, restlessness, and overanalysis. This placement often gives an intelligent and curious mind, but with a tendency to scatter energy in many directions. The lesson is to turn mental activity into wisdom and inner stillness. Ketu in Gemini detaches from endless information and chatter. It encourages inner silence and wisdom beyond words. The native learns to balance logic with intuition. Lessons in focus. Let go of overthinking and mental restlessness. Focus on meaningful communication and deeper understanding. Learn to listen more and speak less. Transform intellect into spiritual insight. Develop calmness and mindfulness in thought and speech. Challenges. Overanalyzing situations or feeling mentally scattered. Difficulty focusing due to curiosity about everything. Struggles with communication or expressing emotions clearly. Feeling disconnected from logical reasoning at times. What to practice? Practice meditation and breathing to calm the mind. Engage in journaling or writing to channel thoughts clearly. Learn to value silence as much as speech. Seek wisdom and inner knowing instead of endless information. Ketu in Cancer, the detached nurturer. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Cancer signifies. Cancer is a water sign ruled by the moon, symbolizing emotions, home, nurturing, and family bonds. It represents comfort, sensitivity, and emotional connection. Ketu in Cancer. When Ketu is in Cancer, the person learns to balance emotional attachments with inner peace. There may be emotional sensitivity and deep compassion, but also a need to detach from emotional dependency or family-related attachments. The journey is to find emotional stability from within. Ketu in Cancer detaches from emotional dependence. It teaches emotional maturity and self-nurturing. The person learns to balance feelings with wisdom. Lessons in focus. Let go of emotional insecurity and dependency. Focus on building inner peace and emotional balance. Learn to nurture yourself before others. Channel emotions into compassion and understanding. Develop strength through emotional awareness. Challenges. Feeling emotionally unstable or disconnected from family. Struggling to express or understand emotions deeply. Fear of rejection or emotional vulnerability. Over-attachment to past memories or comfort zones. What to practice? Practice meditation to stay calm during emotional highs and lows. Spend time in peaceful home environments. Develop self-love and emotional independence. Accept and release the past with forgiveness and understanding. Ketu in Leo, the detached leader. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Leo signifies. Leo is a fire sign ruled by the sun, symbolizing confidence, creativity, leadership, and self-expression. It represents individuality, fame, and the desire to shine. Ketu in Leo. When Ketu is in Leo, the person learns to detach from the desire for recognition and ego-driven achievements. They may have natural leadership qualities from past lives, but must now use them selflessly. This placement pushes them to find inner light rather than seeking validation from others. Ketu in Leo teaches humility and inner strength. It reduces ego and pride, directing energy toward spiritual growth. The person learns to lead with wisdom, not self-importance. Lessons in focus. Let go of ego and the need for attention. Focus on humility, self-awareness, and inner power. Lead others with compassion, not control. Use creativity for spiritual expression. Find joy in serving rather than dominating. Challenges. Feeling unrecognized or underappreciated. Struggle between pride and humility. Difficulty expressing creativity freely. Overconfidence or lack of confidence at times. What to practice? Practice meditation to calm the ego and increase self-awareness. Engage in creative or leadership activities with humility. Appreciate others' strengths and contributions. Serve with heart and let go of the need for validation. Ketu in Virgo, the detached analyst. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Virgo signifies. Virgo is an earth sign ruled by Mercury, symbolizing analysis, logic, practicality, and attention to detail. It represents service, organization, and improvement. Ketu in Virgo. When Ketu is in Virgo, the person learns to let go of overthinking and perfectionism. Ketu's energy makes them analytical but detached, often leading to self-doubt or dissatisfaction if things aren't perfect. This placement pushes them to balance logic with faith and service with inner peace. Ketu in Virgo teaches acceptance and flow over constant correction. It reduces the need for control and mental stress. The person learns that true service comes with surrender, not criticism. Lessons and focus. Let go of perfectionism and constant analysis. Focus on faith, acceptance, and emotional balance. Use logic and service in a mindful way. Learn to trust intuition along with reasoning. Balance mental activity with relaxation and surrender. Challenges. Overthinking and excessive worrying. Difficulty accepting imperfections. Feeling stuck in routine or service roles. Mental restlessness and self-criticism. What to practice. Practice meditation or journaling to calm the mind. Accept flaws, both yours and others. Do service work with humility and detachment. Trust life's flow instead of over-planning. Ketu in Libra, the detached diplomat. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Libra signifies. Libra is an air sign ruled by Venus, symbolizing balance, relationships, harmony, and justice. It represents partnerships, cooperation, and the art of maintaining peace. Ketu in Libra. When Ketu is in Libra, the person learns to detach from dependence on relationships and external validation. They may have mastered diplomacy in past lives, but now they must focus on finding balance within themselves instead of seeking it through others. Ketu in Libra encourages independence and inner harmony. It teaches the soul to seek balance through self-awareness. The person learns that peace starts from within, not from pleasing others. Lessons and focus. Let go of overdependence on relationships. Focus on self-respect, fairness, and inner peace. Learn to make decisions independently. Develop emotional balance and self-worth. Create harmony through self-understanding. Challenges. Confusion or imbalance in relationships. Struggle to assert individuality. Fear of conflict or loneliness. Tendency to please others for peace. What to practice. Practice self-love and mindfulness. Set healthy boundaries in relationships. Reflect on your needs before compromising. Meditate on inner balance and peace. Ketu in Scorpio, the detached mystic. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Scorpio signifies. Scorpio is a water sign ruled by Mars, symbolizing transformation, intensity, mystery, and hidden power. It represents emotional depth, secrecy, and the journey of rebirth. Ketu in Scorpio. When Ketu is in Scorpio, the person becomes deeply introspective and spiritually powerful. This placement gives a natural understanding of life's mysteries, but it can also create emotional intensity and isolation. The soul has already experienced power and control in past lives, and now it must learn surrender and peace. Ketu in Scorpio gives deep intuition and psychic insight. It helps the person face fears and uncover hidden truths. The soul learns transformation through surrender, not control. Lessons and focus. Let go of control and emotional dominance. Focus on healing, self-understanding, and forgiveness. Use deep emotions for spiritual awakening. Accept change as a natural part of growth. Learn to release fear and embrace faith. Challenges. Emotional ups and downs or inner turmoil. Difficulty trusting others or opening up. Obsession with secrets, power, or past pain. Feeling isolated or misunderstood. What to practice. Practice meditation, energy healing, or yoga for inner peace. Forgive and let go of past grudges. Share feelings honestly with trusted people. Surrender to transformation and divine will. Ketu in Sagittarius. the detached explorer. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Sagittarius signifies? Sagittarius is a fire sign ruled by Jupiter, symbolizing philosophy, higher learning, adventure, and exploration. It represents wisdom, truth-seeking, and the quest for meaning. Ketu in Sagittarius. When Ketu is in Sagittarius, the person learns to detach from rigid beliefs and dogmas. There is a natural inclination towards spirituality and higher learning, but the soul is encouraged to seek truth within rather than rely on external teachings. Ketu in Sagittarius encourages spiritual curiosity and independence. It teaches discernment between superficial knowledge and true wisdom. The person learns to explore life's meaning beyond conventional limits. Lessons and focus. Let go of rigid beliefs and prejudices. Focus on personal spiritual growth and understanding. Explore philosophy, higher learning, and meaningful experiences. Balance optimism with practical wisdom. Develop inner guidance and discernment. Challenges: restlessness and desire for constant exploration, overconfidence or arrogance in beliefs, neglect of daily responsibilities in pursuit of ideals, difficulty focusing on one path or subject. What to practice? Practice meditation, reflection, and mindful learning. Seek wisdom through experience, not just books. Cultivate humility and openness to new perspectives. Balance adventurous spirit with grounded action. Ketu in Capricorn, the detached strategist. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Capricorn signifies? Capricorn is an earth sign ruled by Saturn, symbolizing discipline, responsibility, ambition, and long-term planning. It represents structure, perseverance, and worldly achievement. Ketu in Capricorn. When Ketu is in Capricorn, the person learns to detach from excessive ambition, control, and desire for status. This placement encourages focusing on disciplined, meaningful work and spiritual authority rather than worldly recognition. Ketu in Capricorn teaches patience and wise decision-making. It reduces attachment to material success and societal approval. The person learns to build inner authority and strength. Lessons and focus. Let go of obsession with status, power, and recognition. Focus on disciplined action and inner growth. Balance ambition with spiritual purpose. Develop patience and long-term planning skills. Act responsibly without attachment to results. Challenges: workaholism and fear of failure, rigidity and resistance to change, overemphasis on results rather than process, difficulty trusting timing and letting go. What to practice? Practice mindful discipline and self-reflection. Focus on meaningful goals without attachment. Develop patience and trust in life's process. Balance material ambitions with spiritual awareness. Ketu in Aquarius, the detached visionary. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It shows where we naturally let go, seek spiritual lessons, and develop inner strength by moving away from worldly attachments. What Aquarius signifies? Aquarius is an air sign ruled by Saturn, symbolizing independence, innovation, humanitarianism, and unconventional thinking. It represents originality, intellect, and vision for the future. Ketu in Aquarius. When Ketu is in Aquarius, the person learns to detach from social approval and conventional expectations. This placement encourages independent thinking, intuitive insights, and contributing selflessly to society, rather than seeking personal recognition. Ketu in Aquarius encourages independence and originality. It teaches the soul to focus on ideals and collective good. The person learns to balance personal freedom with social responsibility. Lessons and focus. Let go of need for social validation. Focus on unique vision and intuitive guidance. Contribute to society without seeking recognition. Balance individuality with collective welfare. Trust intuition over conformity. Challenges: aloofness or detachment from close relationships, rebellion against authority or tradition, difficulty forming deep personal bonds, emotional detachment or coldness. What to practice? Practice meditation and community service. Cultivate mindful individuality and self-awareness. Balance personal freedom with social responsibility. Follow intuition while respecting others. Ketu in Pisces, the detached spiritualist. What Ketu signifies in Vedic astrology, Ketu is a shadow planet that represents detachment, spiritual growth, past life karma, and inner wisdom. It guides us to release illusions and worldly attachments and to connect with higher consciousness. What Pisces signifies. Pisces is a water sign ruled by Jupiter, symbolizing compassion, intuition, imagination, and spirituality. It represents sensitivity, dreams, and connection with the divine. Ketu in Pisces. When Ketu is in Pisces, the person learns to detach from illusions, emotional dependency, and escapism. This placement encourages spiritual awakening, heightened intuition, and selfless compassion. Ketu in Pisces promotes spiritual surrender and inner clarity. It teaches detachment from unrealistic expectations and worldly distractions. The person learns to navigate life with intuition and compassion. Lessons in focus. Let go of illusions and unrealistic expectations. Focus on spiritual practices and divine connection. Practice compassion without attachment. Develop intuition and discernment. Balance sensitivity with grounded awareness. Challenges. Escapism through fantasies, substances, or avoidance. Emotional overwhelm or confusion. Difficulty setting boundaries. Tendency to lose self in others' emotions. What to practice. Engage in meditation, prayer, and selfless service. Practice grounded spirituality and mindful compassion. Cultivate inner clarity and emotional resilience. Develop a daily spiritual routine to stay centered. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more astrology insights. Have questions, feedback, or suggestions? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for updates. Thank you for watching, and keep shining bright.